at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were just talking about, maybe catching up tonight, but I'm going to my buddy's 99th birthday. His name is Don Whalen. What a great guy. I met him a long, long time ago, probably 40 years ago. And, he invited me to come down here to Florida and work on my game during the winter time. But he actually became one of my helpers, my kind of like my guru. I would go to Europe when I was playing the European tour, wherever I was playing in the world. I had a home down here in Florida, and I would come back here. And what would happen is it would take 5 minutes for him to help me with my golf game. Then I'd just get on a plane a week later and go make money. I mean, it was that he just knew my game that much. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything, he wasn't a big name,
Hmm.
and teaching whatever. But he and I that's that part I told you about earlier where you connect with the person inside. I believe a guy like Butch Harmon is so good because he relates to what the person is feeling inside. And that's how he, helps the Ricky Fowlers and prior to Tiger Woods and everything like that. So he knows what's going on inside that person, and that's how he becomes the best teacher possible for that individual.
All right, teammates. We are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly, in fact, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that. Not the Move Swiftly podcast anymore. We are the Move Swiftly platform, the number one platform on innovative teamwork. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the number one show on innovative teamwork. To my regular listeners, you guys already know how we get down around here. Whatever the struggle is, whatever the challenge is, whatever the obstacle is that may be getting in your way, we are here to indirectly tell you you are not going through it alone. Today, I have a Mr. Danny Mijovic, and let me tell you, I got on the phone with him yet. Well, first of all, shout out to Mark. Shout out to my guy Mark who set this up. Looking forward to really collaborate. Mark was on the show. Mark Mess. He was on the show about a year ago, former NHL hockey official, and we're gonna be doing some cool things this college football season at a Duffy. So stay tuned for that. But he connected me with the Danny, and he was telling me about a lot of the things that he's done from a golf standpoint. And myself, it's always been something like the sport of golf. As I've grown, it's always been something that I have made it a point of wanted to learn, just never found the time. And it was, again, this is what God does. This is done the way you work in the world is you get connected with folks that are experts in that field. So before I make the intro too long, let me just bring them on. Mr. Danny, how you doing today?
Good morning, S1. How you doing? Everything's good.
Yes, it's good. And well, we are recording this. We are actually recording this on a Friday, and this is after. So regular listeners, you guys know I do a faith-based Friday where I go back into the message that I received, the sermon that I received on Sunday. So I'm a little on 10 already because I've already recorded an episode, and I'm ready. I'm ready to have you on to really preach to us in terms of your background in golf. And as we spoke on the phone yesterday, you learned about me. I'm just someone that really only knows the sport from a distance. I did not know the details of it. I don't know how it works, anything like that. So I'm excited for you to educate us all a little bit on the whole sport in general. But to start off, I think it's the best to just kind of give us a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you grew up, and when did this love for the sport actually just first come about?
Well, I come. I was born in the former Yugoslavia, which is now Serbia, Belgrade.
Hmm.
Came to Canada when I was about 7 years old. Um, my father was a leather expert and started a little business in Toronto, just down the street from a very affluent golf club called Rosedale Golf Club. And in the summers, I couldn't stay at home because I was too young, 9 years old, 10 years old, and my mom had to work at the store for my dad.
Hmm.
So I wandered off one morning when we got there to open the store at 9, and I wandered off to the golf course. Didn't return till 6. The police were looking for me. They thought I was kidnapped. I mean, you couldn't write a script like this.
Love that
Anyways,
story.
that's how I
Love
fell in love with golf.
that.
And I also resented that my dad was in the leather business, if you know what I mean, because I got a pretty Good whooping.
Oh, yes.
And
That was premium, probably premium leather belts then.
yes, absolutely. And this is how I got started and fell in love. Took about a week for them to let me go back and start caddying, and that's what I did. I started caddying
Mhm.
at Rosedale Golf Club. Met some of the greatest people. Learned how to swing the golf club, hold the golf club, all that stuff there. Didn't start playing really till I was a late teens, probably mid teens, 15, 16, right in there as I started playing. I'd caddy, I'd go play. And from there it grew. I went to school in Fort Worth, Texas, at Texas Wesleyan University. I backtrack a little bit. My parents didn't play golf,
Right,
so I was able to join a golf club in Toronto called York Downs Golf Club
right.
on a sponsorship deal. They were sort of inviting some good young juniors to the club.
Hmm.
And that's how I got in. A friend of mine, his dad sponsored me into the club, and I never looked back. So they gave me the opportunity to hone my game.
Hmm.
You paid a couple $100 for a whole summer to play golf. I mean, it's a lot different today than it was back then. But uh, I was very grateful for that. And then I went to university in Fort Worth,
Hmm.
Texas Wesleyan, played 4 years at college, graduated, and then from there on, I turned professional. And my to date 53 countries that I've visited playing this
Right.
wonderful game
And
of golf.
And that's actually, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things, especially from the spectator's viewpoint, if I see a golf game on TV, it doesn't seem exciting, maybe because it's like, hey, you're not understanding the intricacies of the game and what it's all about, but you've obviously experienced it in firsthand. So walk us through a little bit about the difference between people that are consuming it on TV versus the ones that are actually in it, like yourself, where you saw it as a young person, you're caddying, you're learning things from experienced golfers that are obviously pulling you into the sport more and more.
Well, yeah, the good question. You know, golf parallels life
Yes.
unbelievably. I mean, it's unreal.
Hmm.
As a person who watches golf on TV, I look for the excitement, like everybody else does. But I watch golf swings, I watch motions, I watch attitudes. I mean, it's the only game that I believe that it's you against yourself. So you have to be very good, mentally. You have to be sound. I mean, that's why we have the psychologists and the guys who really help you stay out of your own way.
Hmm.
Um, I've had a lot of experience with a good friend of mine, Dr. Bob Rotella, who I met, oh God, 30 some odd years ago, and he's
Hmm.
still going strong today and helping the guys on tour and
Right.
not only golfers, but others as well, other sports, basketball
Right.
in particular. Uh, you know, it's the people that watch the game think about, here's a guy or a woman who play
Hmm.
golf. They shoot good rounds. They go to the pay window, get their money, and they leave. They don't see the outside part of that, and that is the dedication you have to have.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a lot of golfers, a lot of professionals that were really good but didn't like to travel. So you have to be able to accustom to be getting on planes and going every week and
Hmm.
hotel rooms and there's all kinds of factors that are involved in that and
Right.
that doesn't show that on TV. I mean,
Right.
really.
Right.
Um, it's tough. I mean, you can go, my drawback was or my ceiling was 5 weeks.
Hmm.
I'd play for 5 weeks and then I'd need to take a break somewhere. I mean, I've gone longer. When I've gone to Asia, we played 12 weeks
Right.
with 1 week off in the middle. I mean, that's pretty grueling. And now you're going to a different country. You're doing all kinds of, when you travel internationally and you got time zones, all that stuff. So there's a lot more involved. But I think you would probably agree, like in any sport, if you put the time in, that's really where you the fruits of the labor are. You got to put the time into
Right.
practice, work hard.
Mhm.
It's no Friday, Saturday nights
Right.
out and hanging out. It's really restricted, and the way you do it, you can strive and you can also have success. That's what I believe, anyways.
Right. So, but the thing is too, when you mention the mental battle, I immediately go back to what someone told me years ago about attorneys and the fact that you need to learn chess by the third grade. I think it was like third grade or fifth grade if you have a shot at being an attorney. And when you mention, how you serve young people and the things you teach them about the game, unfortunately they're influential, they're impressionable about the world and the way the world kind of operates is where football, exciting basketball, flying dunks, that's what pulls a lot of young people into the sports world. But when it comes to what you're teaching to the young people, even if it's just somebody, because it's very rare that you actually see a high school with a golf team. I mean, I know it's been a difficult thing to actually get into colleges and stuff like that, to where you got to kind of be your own agent, you got to be your own person if you want to exceed in the golf world. What have you seen has had a positive effect on young people that you work with that are starting to buy in to the things that you're learning or buy into some of the things, the life lessons that golf is teaching?
Oh, good question. Well, let me start by saying this. All the elite juniors or juniors that I've taught,
Hmm.
one of the things that I started with them is after every session that they had with me, they would have to email me or text me exactly what they learned that day. So
Hmm.
that was a communication between myself and them. It gave me an idea of finding out what they really learned,
Right.
and if there needs to be something that needs to be addressed because they're either I said it wrong or miscommunication.
Right.
Um, Parents love that because the parents think that that's a responsibility between their child and myself.
And
Um,
it turns in not to cut you off, but it turns into a positive experience in the schoolwork. Like these are
oh yeah.
things that you, again, as a football player, you didn't necessarily get this because the sport in itself was such a big commodity. It's just look, it's football and then the school's like two separate worlds. But again, like you're saying, the mental battle with golf now and parents seeing, hey, my son or daughter is now a little more focused on a swing and they're individually. They're doing things that are translating into their actual academic work is a major thing.
Yes, and their their feedback to me is unbelievable. Like, I mean, verbatim. I mean, these kids are unreal. It doesn't matter whether they're really good or they got the potential, but kids really listen. And I'm a kind of no frills guy. There's lots of camps out there where, they bring pizza and balloons and all this. I mean,
Exactly.
when you come to me, it's a little bit more serious. I've had a lot of parents comment and say, "Hey, listen, we really love what you're doing, but you're there to learn." Yes, it's not all nose to the grindstone, so to speak, but that's really what it is. You have to learn, and I wish I had way back when I was young. I learned through the people that I caddied for. I mean, the people, listened, watched,
Hmm.
mimicked, if you want to sort of speak. And nobody taught me the golf swing. And that's just something that I learned by, watching, and creating and believing. But the juniors, they're phenomenal. I mean, there's some kids that are really, really good. And it gives me an idea actually how to go about teaching that individual when I get a reply from them of what they learned that one day. I mean, I've had people just give me one sentence, and I've had somebody give me 2 pages.
Hmm.
I like the 2 pages, but
Right.
they're listening and they're coherent and they know what to do. It's pretty good. So uh, juniors are our future, really. They're our future to growing the sport. They're
Right.
our future to joining golf clubs to get the economy at clubs going. I mean, golf through the pandemic, golf was probably the one sport that thrived more than any other.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
you beat me to it. That was going to be my next question. Is like, all right, I mean, the reputation around golf is it's good for business. Like, there's a lot of networking, a lot of great connections that happen in the golf course. So, talk to us a little bit about. I guess how that or why or how that became the norm or how that became something that golf has as, oh yeah, that's what you do when you want to network and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, really. That's another excellent question. Well, let's say you're looking for a job like yourself and you got to go for an interview. What do you got? 10, 15 minutes? You got
Right.
4 hours on the golf course. So if you're playing with
Wow.
your guy, you got 4 hours. So you don't feel rushed. You
Uh-huh.
don't feel like, you don't get all hyper or whatever people their emotions that come out of us. Now you got 4 hours to relax and talk to this guy. And you know what? I can honestly tell you, Aswan, that if I was to do business with somebody, I'd want to play golf with them for a day, for 4 hours, 18 holes. And I would be able to tell you from that point whether I want to do business with that person or not. That's where I talked about earlier, where I said golf parallels life.
Yes.
So it's phenomenal. You don't have that. You don't have that opportunity in tennis, golf. I mean, sorry, tennis, football, basketball, hockey. You don't get that. But in golf, it's a gentleman's game. I mean, that's the way it was. It's always been. And you have rules, etiquette. It's remarkable. So that's I think from a standpoint, and women have gotten into golf as a profession. But when I have juniors, and the parents would say, we just want her to evolve and get the best. And some don't have a passion maybe to play professional golf,
Mhm.
but women today, corporate, being smart and being in the corporate world and playing golf and being a woman. Wow, that's your oyster right there. I mean, that's for a woman to play golf in the corporate world and be able to conduct business on the golf courses, goes through the roof. Kind of like in Europe. When you're in Europe, if
Mhm.
you don't know four languages, you're behind. So
Mm.
what do you do here in North America? You got a couple languages, but you've got to be able to you got to become more versatile. So it's golf is a very humbling game too. Very humbling.
It's insane that you bred it down to an actual job interview. I remember years ago, I met with it was a sports management director. Shout out to Craig Estrick of George Mason University. And I was telling him I was like breaking into the coaching business and all that. And he goes, the best thing to do is go work camps throughout the summer because you get a chance to get to know the coaches that you're going to be around and you get a chance to understand their philosophies. And what you're saying when it comes to just having a quote unquote job interview on the golf course, it's relaxed, it's understanding a whole 4 hours of is this position really for you. See, one of the things we preach all the time here is employee development and innovative teamwork. And it's because so many people are hired for roles and hired for positions that were rushed. You rushed the interview process, you rushed everything, and all of a sudden you're wondering why your company is just suffering with profits and suffering with turnover. It's because you didn't spend the time really figuring out, is this person a right fit? And that part of it is a huge, huge deal in regards to how you can use golf to get yourself in a better situation, which is why, again, it's something that I've made I'm telling you, Dan, I gotta do it now, especially having you on. I gotta figure out a way to work it in the schedule. So, I do want to, like I said, I do want to be very respectful of your time. Can you just walk us through a little bit about, some of the clients that you currently work with, where they started and how they've grown and, maybe some of the things that you plan on doing in the future, like what's next? What's the next thing that you would want people to know?
Well, being Canadian, I've been wanting to be in the States and work in the States, and I was very fortunate to be able to come down here. My current position is director of instruction at East Point Country Club in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, Jupiter, Florida.
Mhm.
And, that's something that I love. I have a passion. I think when I look back, I had a passion to play, but I have a passion to teach.
Yes.
I love to teach. I mean, I love people. I love the camaraderie. Um, and I look at things a little different than maybe the individual does. I mean, I look at motion. There's a motion in a golf swing, and I look at motion, and then I put the pieces of the puzzle that way. I think it's very important to know the person, your client, your student, your junior, to get inside them, to feel what they're thinking like, and that helps me be able to be more directive of how I, plan to teach them and go forward. It's one of the things that golf for yourself is when you go play for, golf for 18 holes, it's not a 50-minute workout. It's 5 hours probably by the time you get there, by the time you come
I
back, the
know.
time you're there.
I
You
mean,
got
and
to go have lunch.
we're talking South Florida sun, guys, in the summer. So
Yeah, and it's pretty warm out down here right now, but it's the time value. People feel like some people feel like they can't spend 5 hours on the golf course. They're not in a position to be able to do that when they're working, family, all this that goes on. But when you put COVID and the pandemic, wow, I mean, you couldn't get into a golf course. I mean, there were wait lists everywhere.
right.
And that was the only form of quote unquote exercise that people were able to, and play a sport.
Right.
But yeah, I don't treat every client the same way because everybody's different. I don't feel like you have to kind of explore a little bit, ask one to see what they're all about. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in football, whether somebody's got some true grit, you put them through the ringer a little bit to
Right.
see how they stand on the other end. It's sort of like that, but it's just maybe just getting to know somebody and their personality to help them and help me actually how I converse with them, how I would be able to talk to them so that they get the message better. So
Right.
it helps me that way as far as doing that. I hope I answered the question that you asked
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and that's the thing is too when you're talking about the sport from the people that have actually done it, and this is true in any sport, the people that have actually been through it, went through it as player, got into the scouting coach, and still do it. There's a different perspective than somebody that's just from the outside looking in. So as you educate, as you are looking to educate people and you talking to young people. I teach, so they're all into different things, whether it's chess, whether it's somebody's in the art, whether somebody's in the football, whether somebody's in the basketball. You don't want to limit your kids based upon your worldview about a certain thing, which is absolutely one of the major points in this world that's creating such a divisive world that we live in. So you had mentioned, I want to make sure we get this on record as well. So you had mentioned already being a director at a particular country club. Can you just kind of put all that stuff out there now in terms of how people can get in touch with you if they want to hear more, all that good stuff? Go ahead and plug them.
Sure. Yeah, East Point Country Club is a 36 hole facility with two really nice golf courses. They just redid the Fazio course and it opened in January. It's in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It borders Jupiter and Palm Beach Gardens. The south entrance is in Palm Beach Gardens. The north entrance is on in Jupiter. They can call the shop there anytime. They're on, you know, uh, and just ask for me. And I'd love to. The one thing that they allow me to do is, amongst the members that I teach, it's a growing community of memberships, and they allow me to have outside clients, which is great.
There you go.
So that's great for me, and the club is growing. There's a lot of great things happening there, and some of your viewers, if they're in the area, might be even interested to join. I mean, it's a great facility. Um, yeah, I mean, pickleball, tennis, whatever you want, it's got everything there.
And well, make sure you message me that. We'll include all of that in the show notes as well. And so, Danny, the final thing I do to close out all the shows is I want you to use your imagination a little bit. You are back to being a kid and you're bored at your dad's leather shop and you wander off into this golf course and you're on a caddy. So pretend that that 10-year-old version of you is here in the Zoom room. Give that young man some words of encouragement and we will officially close.
Perfect. Well, I don't think I would do anything different as one. I did
Right.
what my heart wanted me to do, but
Yes.
I do want to tell you one thing that's I think is really important. Paying forward.
Mhm.
Um, when I was a young man and started out, I had an opportunity to have a sponsor, and one of my friends was Accuform Golf Clubs in Canada. The gentleman was Czechoslovakian. He introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Mr. Laddie Mislovic. The
Mhm.
second time he met me, he wrote me a check for $50,000 to go play golf.
Wow. Mhm.
He had about 40,000 coming back to him the next year. He didn't renew. He just said, "Listen, just use that 40. If you need more, let me know." I said, "Well, how do I pay you back?" He says, "No, just pay it forward.
Wow.
You're gonna help somebody down the road. I know you will. Just help them. I'm paying you forward."
Wow.
So that to me, that's what life's all about. Whether you're at Starbucks and the guy in front of you pays for your coffee, or it doesn't have to be thousands of dollars like in my case, but that's most of the guys that go try to play the tour, I'd say 99% of them don't make it. So that money that's given by the members or whatever, it's in good gesture.
Mhm.
But I try to pay it forward, and hope your listeners understand that. And it's a sport that we can do that in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have absolutely nothing to add to that. I think that we'll officially close with that. So, again, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.